It's time to have some nostalgia for 1984, and by that extension, you'll know when you see the article.
Uh-oh.
Because we've been given some new information with regards to Top Gun 2. Jennifer Connelly is joining the cast.
Would you say Jennifer Connelly is still entering the danger zone?
It's the highway to the danger zone, my friend. I feel the need for speed. Danger zone.
Oh God! Hearing them, I don't understand. Hearing this freaking them remaking this movie, I'm like, it sends me into a rampage.
It's not a remake; it's an actual sequel.
I don't care what it is. It's stupid. It's a bad idea.
Anyway, Jennifer Connelly is being set to join Tom Cruise in Top Gun 2 Maverick, the Joseph Kosinski directed sequel for Paramount Pictures and Skydance. She will join Cruise, who reprises his Maverick character for the 1986 hit. I stand corrected. It is 86, not 84. Alongside Val Kilmer, who returns to play Maverick's nemesis, Iceman. It should be noted, Val Kilmer is recovering well from cancer, so major props. And also, keep in mind, folks, the voice of Kit from Knight Rider SG. Say what you will about that series, but he was a damn good Kit. Yeah. Miles Teller, who also stars the son of Maverick's wingman, played in the original Jerry Bruckheimer produced film by Anthony Edwards, who unfortunately played Brains in the 2004 Thunderbirds movie. The sequel takes place as Maverick becomes a Top Gun flight instructor. Oh boy, I'm getting bad ideas with that already. And Teller joins as a pilot. Connelly is repped by CAA and RMS. She most recently starred in Only the Brave and is scheduled for the pilot of the series Transfer of Snowpiercer and rapper Alita Battle Angel. Yeah, isn't that supposed to be coming out this year?
Yeah, yes. Looks like they just wrapped filming.
Right, I think that's supposed to come out in December, I think.
I was going to say, they're making us wait for that.
Right, that's been in development hell for 10 years or so, because Cameron originally wanted to make it, but then he says, I'm going to spend the rest of my career on the franchise no one gives a shit about, and just handed the reins over to Robert Rodriguez.
You could do better.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Robert Rodriguez. It's just, his kiddie fare has left a bad taste in my mouth, to be honest.
Oh, you mean Spy Kids?
Yeah, but at the same time, he does occasionally redeem himself when he does his niche with B movies, so it could be a nice little happy medium here.
Right. All right. Has he ever done any dramatic films, serious action films, not just the wink, wink, nudge, nudge kind of B movie action films?
I was gonna say Machete, but that's B movie-ish.
Oh yeah, that's
Closest thing I could think of is he did direct and help out with Sin City, and that was down to a T. So Battle Angel Alita is a graphic novel, and it's not exactly kid-friendly, so it could be good.
Possibly,
I've seen a little bit of that. A lot of crazy shit in that OVA.
Yeah, and I owned 2 volumes of the manga.
All right, here's where I'm going to be objective guy, probably pointing out some of the errors here, and then I'm going to be subjective fanboy who really should have the comedic mallet put across her saying, no, be logical. Objectively, I kind of question why they would do a sequel to Top Gun this late in the day. That's not to say
money.
I was about to say money's probably one of the factors, and cashing in on nostalgia and all that. But it's not the first time that we've seen a sequel to a movie that was really left late in the day. I mean, 2010's Tron Legacy, that was almost 28 years removed from the original in 1982.
I still say that movie had pretty good visuals, especially the way they use, especially with the colors look.
Yes,
the blue and yellows. But the rest, it was not good. Also, soundtrack was fire too by Daft Punk, but the rest,
Like I say, objectively, part of me thinks they're doing this purely for the cash grab, for nostalgia, and it doesn't really make too much sense. But the fan of me that loves the original movie, that loves the action set pieces, especially with how much of a hothead that Maverick was in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's going to be one of those situations where Maverick's going to be going out for like one last run and then either passes the baton or is killed in action. It's just a way of, maybe Tom Cruise just to move on from it, because quite a few people had asked for a sequel to Top Gun. But it's just one of those situations where now it's like, maybe you could come back to it. And to be fair to Cruise, he's aged surprisingly well. I mean, all right, he's not going to look as cute and dreamy as he did back in the 80s, because unfortunately, unless you have the Fountain of Youth, chances are you're not going to hold up so well. But he's defied a lot of things through time. Unfortunately, The Mummy 2017 was one of those things he couldn't defy. But subjectively, I'm intrigued to see what premise that they're going to go with, aside from the fact that it's a seasoned veteran fighter pilot, probably coming back for one last flight. I don't know what kind of role Jennifer Connelly is going to be playing, considering they couldn't just get the original actress to come back, who was Maverick's love interest from the first movie. I mean, whether they're going to get the ship captain from the first movie as well, who was also Principal Strickland from the Back to the Future series as well. I don't know what they're likely to give us, but I'm going to wait for a trailer at the very least and a small, plot synopsis just to see what they're going to give us, because as I learned a long time ago, don't judge something until you see it. But
that's fair.
Again, I don't know what we're likely to get, because it's been 32 years since we felt the need. I don't know if we're likely to get the same Maverick, because people can change in 3 decades. So is it still going to be the hot shot from back in the day, or is this just going to be a guy who's kind of had his wings clipped? I mean, I don't know. Kaiju, where do you weigh on this?
Honestly, it's been like such a long time that I've really seen the Top Gun movie that I barely remember it. It's like I don't really have that strong of an attachment to the movie, but I am aware of its like cultural presence within like with a lot of people who grew up with it, and a lot of like 80s pop culture nostalgia. And it does feel like it's a bit too late for a sequel. I mean, it looks like they're trying to do a passing of the torch with this sequel, but I feel like you can't really pass the torch on Top Gun, because it was just essentially Maverick and Iceman who made that movie what it was. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like this was a question I wanted to bring up, where I had the feeling that 80s nostalgia is kind of dying off at this point, as we get more and more attempts at 80s nostalgia that are just falling apart at the box office, like something, or like, and we've also have seen like the slow and steady rise of 90s nostalgia taking over but most, not so much on in terms of like movies, but especially on television. So I'm thinking that it's probably like 5 years too late for them to jump on the 80s nostalgia bandwagon, as I feel like it's just like a slowly dying trend. Like, sure, you got like, the next Transformers, the next Ninja Turtles, but I don't really see them so much as 80s properties, but I just see them as like a continuous franchise that's constantly rebooting itself every couple of years. So it's not specifically targeted to that decade. Sure, there's a large fan base from the 80s, but those are franchises that are constantly acquiring new fans every year.
Well, because there's so many different
versions.
Incarnations, versions, what have you.
Yeah, I mean, I personally grew up with 3 of them. I grew up with the 80s show, I grew up with the Next Mutation, I grew up with the 2003 show, and I saw quite a bit of the 2012 show.
Also, Next Mutation, I'm sorry. I went to that same shit.
Yeah, I mean, I was a Fox Kids kid. You know, I grew up on that Saban shit.
And I grew up with the movies, and I feel like I couldn't get into the 80s one when Next Mutation came out. I was like, yeah, maybe I like it, but when I look back at it, like, what was wrong with me as a kid?
Oh God! The only reason I knew that show existed is because they crossed over with Power Rangers, and that's the only reason I knew that.
Shell shocked.
Why does this? Why?
Is the thing. Whenever they've tried doing new variations, new movies, what have you, one of the creators says, "Do not mention Venus."
Yeah, that was a character that Eastman and Laird were pissed off about being introduced. Because, come on, if you want to make a strong character, then all they had to do was progress April O'Neil's character further in that series. But then a few years later, 2003, they do it right by making her smart, witty. Not that she wasn't smart and witty before, but if anything, she rarely got into too much trouble. And there were a few moments where she saved the turtles, along with Casey Jones, because Mother taught her how to defend herself. Yep, 2012 show, 2003 cartoon, and 2007 movie, where we got to see that April can hold her own if she had to.
Yeah. And she was voiced by a former vampire slayer.
Yeah,
Buffy.
And another voice role Veronica Taylor did. 2003 cartoon.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know that one.
Oh, Aaron Izars just said, has anyone heard that they're making a Lord of the Flies that's all women? Oh, goody.
Wow.
Here's the thing. And I need to say this so that nothing is taken out of context. I don't have a problem having a movie where the lead roles are female. What I have a problem with is where they'll take a story that was already good, is already established as a well-written book, and was also a well-put-together movie. When you try to take that and just make it all women just to pander to an audience, it's like, just because you change the gender of the character doesn't make it thought-provoking nor compelling. If you want to make a compelling character, write a compelling character and a story. Don't just swap it out, just because some people feel like, oh, we need these characters to be women. Why? If the characters are already strong, written characters, why do you feel this need to change their genders? Because reasons.
Because SJWs, that's why.
No, Lydia. They're figments of people's imaginations. They don't exist.
That's okay. That's fair.
But do you see the point? I mean, and here's the thing, folks. We have 2 women in this hangout. Ladies, am I being fair?
Oh, you're being fair. Yeah, definitely.
I find it fair, personally. If they wanted to go with this kind of concept, they should have just made it a entirely different movie. If you try to infringe on a franchise that already existed, ladies and gentlemen, Exhibit A, Fig Busters, then it's probably going to do badly, especially if this director decides to repeat the same mistake Fate did and do condescending marketing. And you know it's gonna fucking happen.
It's kind of funny how they constantly like bag on fans of the original while the end product is constantly making you remember the original.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With its constant throwbacks, its constant cameos, its constant, hey, remember this?
Ugh.
Yeah, I remember it. I'm gonna go away and watch the actual one, you assholes. Bye.
And then they say, oh, you should stop comparing us to the original. You should start seeing it as its own thing. Fuck you. You're not, you hypocritical pieces of shit.
Oh, that's being generous.
Oh God.
Am I?
Cow dung.
Yeah. All right.
Let's see.
Let's get back.
Steven says, like how Hefferon used the reboot name to continue a failed series that he made several years ago. Oh yeah, reboot the what's it called, the Guardian Code that came out on Netflix.
It took me 3 to 4 episodes and I was done.
Yeah.
Did you saw the the quote unquote famed episode 10 where they actually brought in the characters from reboot?
You know what? I might actually check that out and just never.
All right.
I remember one of my friends that said something.
Oh
like that.
God.
Like, okay, I'll check that out soon.
I've only heard about that. I haven't seen it. Is it any good, or is it something I should stay away from?
I'm just gonna say meh.
Okay.
That it's just okay. At the same time, the only thing that really irked me, I haven't watched it yet. I'm probably going to give it a chance to see my point of view. But what irked me is that they screwed up some of the character orders. I'm sorry, but Bob is not Enzo's brother. Dot was Enzo's sister. Bob was the Guardian character and main character and potential love interest for Dot.
Alphanumeric.
Like,
for those who remember the show, you know what I meant.
Yep. But as I said, for fuck's sakes, if you're gonna reboot a franchise, at least do your homework a bit better and get your characters right. And if I do happen to give the full franchise a chance, you better not fuck up Andrea, or there's going to be a very angry Orange Tabby in your future.
Please, Mother, I wish to sharpen my claws on something that will be good for me. She's now looking at Navi thinking, okay, don't do that.
Like, Scar, is that you? Jeremy Irons?
Oh God. Oh God, my cat being voiced by Jeremy Irons.
All right. Let's get back on topic a sec. Raiden, where do you stand with Jennifer Connelly in Top Gun 2? And like me, are you kind of on the fence of, do we really need this movie? Or looking from the fans' perspective, oh, hey, we've been given another movie at last. I mean, where do you sit with this?
I'll just give it a one rap quote. They say money is the root of all evil. I say money is the root of all people. With that said, I definitely agree with Kaiju on that. It's like, I feel like no matter how good the thing is, money is always just a way to say, hey, let's just do it for the sake of just making it, just to get the nostalgia trip happening. Though I never really cared about the series itself, I do respect. I guess with everything that I don't never watch, I do give it the respect it deserves. So like, with that said, I don't know. I feel like it's just too little, too late with some things. I mean, there's some things that deserve a sequel, and we got one with Incredibles 2, but there's others that we might never see get sequels. So with that said, I don't know. I'm a little on the iffy side on that, because I feel like nowadays you always have to be on the iffy side, because you never know what BS is going to come from it. You know what I mean? So I'm a little on the iffy side as well.
Lydia, same question.
Yeah, like you guys have said, I'm on the fence on it myself. I didn't mean to act the way I did when I said like it shouldn't happen. Well, in a way, the one thing that angers me is that like Hollywood has no original ideas anymore. It's like we keep rebooting stuff like oh, people aren't gonna remember. Hi, people don't have the attention span of goldfish. They're going to remember that this came out before. Don't do that. But no, money talks, and we're all fucked. That's what I gotta say. But again, I'll give it a shot, see if it's any good. If not, then it's like, okay, there's another thing I can ignore.
Last but never least, Win.
Okay, let's see here. On one hand, it could be a good movie because it's a pretty good cast pick. Jennifer Connelly, I loved her in Labyrinth. And Top Gun was a really fun movie to watch. On the other, it depends on if they'll handle it well. Will they treat the franchise with its much the respect it deserves, or is it just going to be a quick cash cow they're going to try to milk every drop out of?
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I'm opposed to it. As I said, the movie could be really, really good, but to echo what Lydia said here, I really wish Hollywood would just start giving chances to new IPs, fresh ideas. This is why you don't see many people going to the movies. Not just because it's expensive, but because it's things that have been done before. Sure, you can argue that there's no original ideas anymore, but you can at least take an existing idea and approach it in a fresh way. And it would help, seeing as most of these studios have the money to do so, if they would actually take risks instead of play it safe all the time. Playing it safe to lazy work and lack of creativity.
I mean, you could argue in a similar vein, they took a risk with Jurassic Park 25 years ago, but that was that one time. It's like, it paid off big time.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. The closest thing they had that was allegedly original that I can think of, if you don't count Pacific Rim, because that was pretty original and really, really good, would be allegedly James Cameron's Avatar. But at the same time, that's pretty much The Last Samurai and Dances with Wolves with blue furries.
And Pocahontas a little bit.
A lot of people give that movie flack.
It's not bad. It's just as I said, the plot does feel like it's been ripped out of either Dances with Wolves or The Last Samurai. I would say The Last Samurai a bit more because I remember that movie a bit better.
Yeah. And I guess people wouldn't dog it so much if it at least did something new with the formula, or if at least try to flesh things out rather than to simplify everything into very black and white categories. Like humans bad, Navi good. Meow.
Exactly.
Not that Navi, I meant.
He's probably looking up thinking, human, why have you spoken my name? Do you have treats? Navi likes treats.
Are you blue? No? Then get out!
I am blue.
I demand pittance and gushy food. Oh god, it'd be hilarious if someone drew a very angry Navi chasing a Kaiju's robot avatar.
I will get you, human. No, you will not.